Dear students, in our previous class we have discussed regarding the inline function. Now I am going to write the syntax for inline function. Okay, we shall see the syntax for inline function. Inline function. Okay, syntax is syntax. How can we write the syntax of inline function? See, we have discussed inline function should return or start with the keyword inline. Okay, then inline return type, then argument. After that, open the brace. Okay, then statements. After that, then return. Okay, return function with expansion. Return function with expansion, then flows. Like this, we have to write the syntax for inline function. Okay, now come, we shall discuss regarding the advantages of inline function. Advantages of inline function. Advantages of inline function. The first one is inline functions are they are compact function calls. Compact function calls. Compact means they are closely related. All the calls or all the functions are included in the same function. That type of functions are called as compact function calls. Then second one, the size of the object code. The size of the object code is considerably reduced. When we use the inline function, at the time the size of the object code means the program which we will write, that code is called as object code. Okay, the size of the object code will be considerably reduced. Next, the third one is the speed of execution of program. The speed of execution of program will be increased. The speed of execution of program increases. And then fourth one is very efficient code can be generated. Very efficient code can be generated. Okay, here the speed of execution of program. Okay, the program which you will go into execute. The speed of that execution will be increased. It will be going to increase, and then very efficient code can be generated. Okay, for the program which you will write, you will get the efficient code for that program. And then the last point is the readability of the program. The readability of the program. program, the readability of the program increases. Okay, the readability of the program. Okay, the program which you will write. Okay, reading of that program will be increased with the help of inline function. So these are the advantages of inline function. Now come we shall discuss the disadvantages of inline function. The disadvantages of inline function. Only one disadvantage is there. Okay, what is that disadvantage? As the body of inline function is substituted in the place of function call. In the place of function call, as I have explained in my previous class, that a inline function can be called inside the function itself. In the place of the function, the inline function can be defined in the place of function call itself. Okay, so for that reason here, in the place of function call, then the size of the executable file, will be increased and more memory is required, and more memory is required. Okay, hope you have understood that when the inline function is substituted, in the place of function call. For this reason, the size of the executable file will be increased and more memory is required for storing of the function or the storage of the program. So this is the disadvantage of the inline function. So here the working of inline function has going to be stopped. This is about the inline function. Now we are going to discuss about the last function, that is the friend function. Come we shall see what is actually the friend function and how the syntax of private function can be used. How the syntax of friend function can be used, and then what are the advantages of this friend function and what exactly the meaning of friend function. Regarding these things, now we are going to discuss friend function. Friend function. Okay, come now I am going to write its definition one piece. A friend function is a non-member function, of the class. Okay, friend function is a member of some other class. Okay, but non-member function for the present class. Okay, but has the access permission to the private members of the class, to the private members of the class. Okay, so this friend function is a non-member function of the class, okay, but it is having the access permission to the private members of the class. Okay, even if it is a non-member function of the class, though it is having access permissions to the private members of the class. Okay, hope you have understood this point. Okay, in one more way I will try to make you understand. A friend function, it is a member function of other class, but it is also having the access permission. It means it is having the permission to access the members of the class. Okay, so that type of function is called as friend function. Next, second point. A friend function can be declared within a class. It should be declared within a class, okay, with prefix, friend. Okay, it means it should be declared within the class itself, but by giving prefix as friend. By giving prefix means with the at the beginning of the friend function itself we need to define it as friend. Okay, when I will write the syntax, then you will come to know. But it should be declared outside the class, as normal function without the prefix friend. Okay, look here. While defining this function inside the class, at that time it should be defined by prefix friend. Okay, but while defining this outside the class, at that time it should be declared as a normal function, okay, without giving the prefix as friend. Okay, when I will write the syntax, then you will come to know. Okay, now come the general format of friend function. I am going to write now the general format of friend function. Then you will come to know everything about this friend function. This is the last point which now I am going to write. This one also included in the definition of friend function only. Okay, the general format of friend function is given below. Okay, now I am going to write the general format of friend function. Okay, now write class, then class name, class name, then open. Okay, friend function can be defined under the public access specifiers. Public. Okay, then every friend function. What's the condition of friend function? It should be defined inside the class with the prefix friend. Prefix means at first itself we need to define it as friend. Okay, then return type. Okay, then function name, after that arguments, okay, like this we need to define a function. Okay, then after that this will be going to be closed. That means class will be closed here. Okay, put a semicolon like this. Friend, return type, okay, function name, and then arguments. Okay, like this you need to define the friend function. This is the general format of friend function. Now I am going to write the syntax of the friend function. Now see the syntax. General format is similar that of syntax. Okay, don't worry what is the general format and what is the syntax. Both are same. Okay, then class, after that class name. Okay, then public, and public give it as void. Then function 1. So this is a friend function, so we need to give prefix as friend. Okay, friend. Then void function 1, then in bracket void. After that again friend function. Okay, we need to give the prefix. But starting as friend, then return type, then function name, okay, after that arguments. So like this the syntax of a friend function can be given, and finally the class is going to be closed like this. The syntax of friend function can be given like this. Now after that, the last thing, that is I am going to give you the programming structured example for friend function. So now write down the programming example for friend function. Okay, now write down this class base. Okay, take the class name as base. Then take two values for the variables. Two values as variables. And value 1. Okay, and value 2. After that, take the access specifier. Okay, for this public access specifier, take one function as get data. Okay, function is taken. Two values have been taken and one function is taken, that is get data. Okay, this is public type, so we need to take it as void get. Okay, then close the class. No need to close the class. Give directly here. See out. Enter the two values. Enter the two values. Okay. Enter two values. After that, see in which are the two values. See value 1. Okay. Then value 2. Okay, now close this working. Understood? The working is closed now. Then, after closing this working, now you need to define the friend function. Okay, So define here friend, define it like this, float, then mean. Okay, see, friend, then return type, then function. After that, base OB. Take it as base OB. After this base, now write float, directly write float mean, write the function mean OB dot value 1. Okay, OB dot value 1. Then, sorry, here, don't write like this. Base, take the base, base OB. Okay, this is one thing here we have completed. Friend function is defined like this. Then finally, open brace. After that, return. Okay, return. Then float. Okay, then OB dot value 1 plus then OB dot value 2. Here this is going to be closed. See here, friend function is defined inside the class by giving prefix as friend. Like this, we need to define any friend function inside the class definition. Hope you have understood this. Now the open class is going to be closed here. Don't get confused here. This is different. Okay. After completing these two statements, come here, then finish the return statement. After that, close the class. This is the general programming. Sorry, this is the programming structured example for the friend function. So up to here, your chapter, that is function overloading, has been completed. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding these things, you can ask me personally. But before completing this chapter, I am going to make you understand a few points. Okay, after that I will going to close this chapter. Now I am going to write the syntax of inline function here. Syntax, okay, for inline function. Okay, not for friend function, for inline function. See, it should be like this: inline, then return type, then after return type, function name should be there. Function name, okay, then arguments, okay, put semicolon here. After this, put a semicolon, then open brace. After that, state, then return, then expansion. After that, close this one. Okay, like this, we need to give the syntax of inline function. But in some cases, inline function will not going to be work. Come, we shall see when this inline function will not going to be work. Inline function, here write it as node. Inline function will not going to be work. Will not going to be work. Sometimes for the following reasons. For the following reasons. Okay, in sometimes inline function will not going to be work for the following reasons. First point, the inline function definition. The inline function definition is too long or too complex. You can write it as complex or complex or too complicated. Okay. See, the inline function definition, when the inline function definition is too long or too complicated, at that time the inline function will not going to be work. Then the second point, the inline function is recursive. The inline function is recursive. Okay, in later chapters we will going to discuss about recursive function. Then you will understand about recursive. Just to remember here, inline function, when inline function will become recursive, at that time the inline function will not going to be work. And then third point, the inline function has looping constants. See, looping constant means for loop, okay, which you will write for I equals 0, okay, I less than or equal to n, then I plus plus. For this type of looping statement, this statement is called as for loop, and another one is while loop, okay, then do while loop. Okay, for all these type of looping statements, inline function will not work. Okay, and the last point is the inline function has a switch or go to. When the inline function is having switch statement or go to statement, in this case also the inline function will not going to be work. So for here your chapter, that is function overloading, is completed. If you have any doubts regarding this class, you can ask me personally. In our next class, we are going to discuss regarding constructors and destructors. The next chapter, that is constructors and destructors. Okay, what is meant by constructor and what is destructor, and how they can be constructed, how they can be destructed, and all those things we will going to discuss in our next class. Thank you.